You mentioned it. Shocker last night. Memphis Grizzlies, again, without Ja Morant, their superstar, pummel. Pummel's not even strong enough. The final score, Rob, you rarely say this in a blowout like this. It wasn't as close as the final score.
Right. It wasn't representative of the game.
134
even though it was a blowout.
95, and it was worse than that. They trailed by 55. At one point, Rob, the Grizzlies went on a 90-39 run. Unbelievable. It was ridiculous. And let's keep it real. I like Desmond Bane. I like Tyus Jones. I like Jaren Jackson. But every single one of them, Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks, they're role players. Every single one, maybe one of them will blossom. I know they can get some points. Bane and Dylan Brooks averaging about 18. That's nice. But they're role players, at least right now. And they danced all over the Warriors last night, Rob. And look, I still got the Warriors winning this series. In fact, they better win it in 6, because if they don't, who knows what could happen in a game 7. But that was ugly, embarrassing, awful, any negative adjective you can come up with.
Chris, I'm going to tell you straight up. The Warriors are lucky to be up 3-2 in this series. They have been basically outplayed and should be behind 3-2. When you think about the suspension of Dylan Brooks, how that affected the Memphis and not having Ja, their star. And Chris, when you add up all the points from the 5 games,
right?
Memphis has more. They have a +10. I mean, that game that they gave up in Golden State, right? That they should have won that game.
Well,
or they were close to
winning. 4. They outplayed them except for the fourth quarter.
Except for the fourth quarter, Chris, this could be 3-2 Memphis if you want to be honest about it. And the Warriors have been very fortunate. They've had their lulls, Chris, and we've seen it, where they don't make shots.
Yep.
I can't look at this team and say, oh, they're en route to another championship. They're having a hard time with a team like Memphis, filled with young guys and without their star guy. How in the world is this series as close as we're looking at it, Chris? And you're right. They better close the deal in Game 6.
They better.
They better. Absolutely. Because they could wind up losing this.
Absolutely.
No way. Everybody and their uncle, Chris, lost money last night. Everybody. Because without Ja and the spread, what was it, 4 points?
Don't try to make Shekel City look better.
I'm trying to make myself feel better about it. Everybody, but I did have the Bucks, though, and that choke job by the Celtics. Whether you want to call it a choke job or not.
I hear you. I ain't going to fight that. They definitely made some mistakes. Yeah,
they did down the end. But anyway.
I give the Bucks credit, but yeah, they made some mistakes. There's no doubt.
But my point was that, Chris, this series shouldn't be as close as it is. And the Warriors are fortunate. I can't look at them and say, oh, yeah, they're championship ready to go and they're going to win when they play better teams, more tested than a young Memphis team without their star. This series should be over, Chris. And instead, it's not, coming off an embarrassing loss that they took in Game 5. There's no reason they should show up. They should have smelled blood, looked at it like, let's get this over with, Chris. Let's rest up for the next series. You know, why is this prolonged?
And I'm going to say something too, right? And maybe this is just me. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I think I'll be proven wrong because I think they'll win. But, Rob, I didn't like Draymond and Steph, and it was mostly Draymond, kind of going along with the whoop that trick, chant that the Grizzlies and their fans were doing in the dancers.
That fan base, Chris, was that ridiculous?
Oh, it's awesome there. I covered playoff games there when they had Zach Randolph and Tony Allen and that crew. It's awesome. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They deserve a great team.
And the other good part about it is you can send off a package, too. Go to the game and have a package shipped.
Right. FedEx.
Nothing, Alex? Nothing?
What'd you think of that? Did you like, or you were indifferent to Draymond and, swinging the towel and that trick as well?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I mean, I get it. Not everybody has to mope. People handle things differently. But right. I don't know. I'd like to see a little more seriousness, like a little more anger. Like, yo, we getting embarrassed.
What are we doing here? We can lose. There's no crime in losing to the Grizzlies, okay, on the road. But this is what we came in, Chris, with a chance to close out a series?
Yeah, I can't really – I got to say that. And look, Draymond's proven he's a champion. But, Rob, I'm thinking of guys in the past that have won. LeBron, Jordan, Magic, Bird. Can you see any of them doing something like that? Going along with the whoop that trick, swinging it. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't see it. So, but here's, Rob, I want to make a point. Now, let me preface it by saying this. If I'm the Grizzlies, I'm signing Ja Morant to a long-term max contract extension as soon as I can, which is this offseason. I'm not, he's the man. I want him to be the face of my franchise. He's a superstar. Heck, he might become the face of the league for all we know. But, Rob, the elephant in the room for this season, they've been better without Ja. Now, I think you need him, as I'm saying, long term, because you need superstars. But for whatever reason, and one of the big ones is the defense, Rob, they have been better without Ja Morant this year. And it's not a small sample size. It's not 5 games. It's not 15 games. It's 27 games now. It's a third of the season. And this is including the playoffs. And here's a few numbers, Rob. With Ja Morant, they're 41, I think, and 27. Whatever the exact number, they play at a 52-win, 41 and 24, I'm sorry. Play at a 52-win pace, over 82 games. Without Ja, Rob, they were 21 and 6. Play at a 64-win pace. They're 20 and 17 against playoff teams with Ja. They're 10 and 5 against playoff teams without Ja. And listen to these teams they've beaten without Ja. They won at Dallas. They won at Miami. They've beaten Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Golden State, and Phoenix. And I know some of those games maybe a star was missing for the other team, but Ja was missing for them.
Right.
And the defense is markedly better. Markedly better. The offensive rating is a little better with Ja, but they score a few more points a game, about 3 more points per game without Ja. They shoot a higher field goal percentage, and they make a better percentage of their threes as well. And, Rob, without Ja, they win their games by 14 points on average. With them, they win by 2.5. So, again, I don't take this the wrong way. I'm bringing back Ja, and I want him to be the face of my franchise for the next decade or so, if not longer. But, Rob, I haven't seen anything like this in my 27 years covering the league, but it's there, and last night it was a factor. They were down 2-1 with Ja, and now in the last 2 games they played without him, they have outplayed the Warriors in all but the fourth quarter of game 4.
Right.
Basically outplayed them 7 of the 8 quarters. So what do you think about that? I mean, it's odd. I can't.
It's odd. It's hard to look and go, they're better without him, Chris. You know what I mean? I know the sample size is big. Right. It's hard to really believe that. We've seen that happen before with some players.
I would bring him back. I wouldn't think about, maybe we should move
because
on.
You would hope, like they had a good year this year, but you would hope that him added to the mix and those other players, and maybe they can still play at that octane, Chris.
Right.
When he's there. You know what I mean? Not only when he's out and they're galvanized and they feel like they got to do more because they know he's missing. No, play like this, and it's harder because if you have a guy who's taking all those shots or taking more of the shots, other guys don't feel compelled. You know?
Yeah, I think, look, the best teams complement each other. And like when you had Magic and Kareem and Worthy, they could all do what they do best, right? Well, in the Golden State, Clay can be Clay, Dre can be Dre, and Steph could be Steph when they won that championship. And then you bring in KD, and it was the same way. They all can do what they do. If I'm the Grizzlies, Rob, I'm looking at this offseason, I'm looking at all the film, and I'm figuring out, okay, how can we, to your point, how can we get everybody else to be the best player they can be while Ja is still able to be Ja? And the one obvious thing is he's got to defend better, and you'll talk to him about that. But besides that, how can we work it out? But